This is a small guide to set up your first little auto sieving setup. This is just crushing some gravel and sieving it, melting it, and then putting it all into a little drawer system. Let me do a little showing you how it's done. This is just a quick little rundown of the materials that we're using. I have a stone block generator with some water and some lava that's going to generate our cobblestone. The cobblestone gets pushed into the flux hammer. The flux hammer will grind it down into gravel, push it into the sieve. The sieve will, of course, shake it down into the materials that we want to get. I'm using 2 oak chests. One's going to be using the advanced hopper upgrade to move the cobblestone around, and the other one's going to be using a compacting upgrade to compact our ores. I'm also using 2 emerald furnaces. One of them's going to be upgraded with a generator, the other with a factory upgrade. I'm using a squeezer with 2 armor stands to constantly crush the ore into 2 pieces to double it. Storage system that I'm using is just a storage controller, as well as 1 2x2 oak drawer, and the compacting drawer for compacting all the other metals. Some building block, of course. You'll just need a little bit of that. And we have some item pipes for moving items around, and some basic universal cables for moving power around. The pipe upgrade we are also going to need so that we can filter and sort where our items are going to go. These little tools down here, the linking tool and the configuration tool from functional storage, these are used to configure our drawer system, and that should be pretty much it. Let us begin with setting up our stone block generator. We're going to need a spot to hold the water and a spot to hold the lava. Put the stone block generator in between them. One side gets lava, the other side gets water, and boom, we're generating cobble. This little cobblestone generator will push ore into an inventory above it. So we'll go ahead and we'll slap sophisticated storage chest up there, and as you can see, it's generating us some cobblestone. You can move this with pipes and stuff like that. I like to keep the system a little compact, and making these little advanced hopper upgrades isn't too much of a hassle, but this lets you push in and out of the chest from different sides. So we're trying to pull from the bottom with the cobblestone come up from the bottom, which this setting doesn't matter because this is automatically pushing. But we do want to push from the top upward. So next what we want to grab is our flux hammer, receive, or diamond mesh. We want to set our flux hammer on top of the chest, facing toward us. You can see this little lip here, this little ledge. This is showing you the direction that it will push out into. As you can see now, my oak chest is empty. The advanced hopper upgrade is pushing up into the chest. We'll stick a sieve down. This will now cause the flux hammer, as it operates, to push items into the flux sieve. Now, they're not operating right now because there's no energy, but whenever these have energy, they'll start operating and moving stuff around. Don't forget to stick your mesh inside of your flux sieve. Now, I'm going to need one more chest. I'm going to slap it right here against this one. Inside this chest, I'm going to stick in the compacting upgrade, and this will compact any item that can be crafted into a 2x2 recipe. Now, you do have to make sure that you turn this to compact anything, because if you don't, it will not compact your ores, because your ores cannot be broken down back into the little ore pieces. We need to block amethyst, kivy, and a lapis so they don't get turned into bricks and into blocks before they get transported. The next thing I want to set up is our little ore doubling station. I have a squeezer, 2 armor stands, and a redstone clock. If you come to this side of the chest and face it this way and place it down, you can see how this little groove here faces into the chest. This means that whenever it gets done producing something, it'll automatically get squeezed into this inventory. Next, to get the armor stands up, I'll place one on top of the squeezer. The next one, I go up into the air, and you have to build up a little bit. You're going to place down this next armor stand, break the block, and it'll fall into the squeezer. Right, so now we have, stick the redstone clock here. We also need to run a pipe over here. This will be our first pipe setup. Inside of this pipe, well, first I'm going to set this pipe to be extracting from this face of the chest. I'm going to take my iron upgrade and stick it in here. In all the mods 10, the iron upgrade gives you access to all of the different filtering modes and distribution modes and all this. So we have access to this very powerful filter mode. And that is why I chose to use these pipes. So what we want to tell this thing to do is we want to look at this face of the squeezer. I'm going to right click it with my destination. The destination will be set. I'll come back over to my item pipe. All right, before I add any filters though, I do want to set this to a blacklist. And if you don't do this and you start setting this up, and you have the system already kind of operating, you'll start sticking a bunch of things everywhere. And just to kind of make it easier on you and to let you kind of filter things as you go without it moving things where it can possibly move things, it's best to set it as a blacklist for now. You can change this later if you want, or if you know what you're doing, right? But so yeah. I'm gonna set this to a blacklist. I'm gonna go ahead, add my destination on there. Change this to a blacklist. And for the item that we're going to move, it's going to be C. We're going to type a hashtag C : ores. And this is the tag for all little smeltable ores. There we go. So now, anytime an ore is crafted inside of this little chest, it's going to get pulled out and put into the squeezer. And the squeezer is going to crush it and put it back into the chest. Next up, we have our furnace set up. So I'm going to set up our smelting furnace. I'm going to set up our energy furnace. I'm going to take my energy pipes, run them along the side of here to hit all these different machines. Inside of the top furnace that I'm using for power, I'm going to go ahead and put in the generator augment as well as a fuel efficiency upgrade. And to our smelter furnace, I'm going to stick in the factory upgrade. And what the factory upgrade does is it makes it use power. So now it's using energy, and you have a little splitting feature here. So if you're pulling in a lot of ores, it'll split it all up and burn it all at the same time. It's very powerful. It does use a bit more energy, but it's okay. We're going to use this top emerald furnace here to pump out a good bit of energy, so we don't have to worry about that. To set up our furnaces to work correctly. So open the config. From the bottom, we want it to pull up and put into the fuel section, right? And then this is producing energy, right? We want to output the energy to the left. That is our outputted resource or material that we're crafting here is energy. So bottom, fuel input. To the left, energy output. For the furnace that is going to be smelting our items, we want input to come in from the right. Fuel is going to be coming in from the top. That's our energy. And output to go down through the bottom. So this will pull in from our pipe. Energy will come in from the top. Our resources that we produce are going to be pushed down into the bottom. So now that we have those two positioned where we want them, we want to get our destination tool. In the bottom of the energy furnace, we're going to go ahead and right click the bottom part of it that's facing toward the pipe. We're going to click on our little, and we're going to configure another item here. You can use JEI to drag and drop over into the item part, or you can type it out if you know what it is. Set our destination, set this to an inverted filter. And what the invert does is, since we're using a blacklist on the main portion of the filter, everything's blacklisted, this tells it to invert that behavior. So instead of it blacklisting the coal, it creates a double negative, and it actually whitelists the coal to go to this destination because it's behaving differently. We'll set that. So now anytime coal comes in, it's going to get sent automatically to our emerald furnace. And then for our other emerald furnace, our little smelting furnace, we're going to go ahead and right click the side facing the pipe. We're going to go over to our item pipe, set another filter up. For this one, we want to move any C : raw _ materials. And this is going to be all the ore that we get crushed. We need to set our destination. Don't forget to do this. And we need to set this to be an inverted filter. Hit submit. So now we have the ore. Oh my lord, really? Alright, so where were we? Now, we need to set up our little tiny storage station. So we have our storage controller. We can set this down here. I'm going to right-click it with my linking tool to set it as my my controller that I'm operating from. Alright, so I have one normal 2x2 oak drawer, and then I have 14 compacting drawers. I am not going to stick anything in them yet, but I will go through and I'll lock all of them. I'm not even going to link these up yet. You gotta be careful because sometimes if you leave all these open and you link them up and you have stuff moving around, they will get sent directly in here and this make a mess. They'll go places where you might not want them to go. So now, as far as the items that we want to move in here, let's go ahead and set this as our destination. In order to see the tags on an item, like here, if I hold shift, you can see how it pulls out all the tags that are associated with these different items. In order to see that information, you need to hold F3 and press your H button. If I go back out, F3H, advanced tooltips are shown. You can see all the tags and everything that you need to see to move the items around. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to gravel. I'm gonna right click it. You can do right click or hit the U button for uses. And that'll pull up this page here. It shows all the resources that we can get. Now, we'll go to our diamond page, and you can see we get these little azurine, crimsite, ochrum, and viridium create stones. If I hold shift over them, there are tags for them. You know, the quarry tag for the flower bees, the productive bees, might actually work. So our problem is that the ores and the stones are mineable, right? So using a lot of these other ones are something that's going to have a little bit of overlap with the ore. We don't want any overlap. We want something that's going to just make these very specific and only follow these, right? So hashtag productive bees colon flowers slash quarry. I'm going to set that to our destination, invert it, hit submit. Click add, throw in our destination, swap this to an invert. For a tag, we need hashtag C gems, not germs, gems. Hit submit. You do have to add flint all on its own. Add, tag, this, flint, submit. It should suck it out, yeah. We're gonna need another item pipe to pull out of here. All that's left to do now would be to power it. You're gonna just need some extra coal. I have a couple of blocks of coal here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in this emerald furnace. The emerald furnace will start cooking it. You'll see everything else will start getting some energy. Our flux hammer, now that it has energy, will show us a little green check mark that it's working. It'll produce gravel. The gravel will get crushed and then it'll get sieved. The material will come down into this drawer. You can see that we're starting to get our first bit of items here. So, if you have your resources, go ahead and grab them and stick them into where you want them to go here. You're going to want to get one of each result from sieving gravel. And if you are unsure what all of it is, if you go to your JEI, look up gravel, right click or press the U button while hovering gravel, go through the tabs at the top, click on your sieve, go over to find the diamond mesh or whatever mesh you're using. And you can see the different things you need to get. For the ores, you're going to want to grab the smelted ore. For everything else, you can just grab the item, right? So, I'm going to go ahead and start setting up my metals into these compacting drawers. Metal, metal, metal. We'll grab our gems. So we've got metal, metal, metal. I put them in this left side here. If you stick them here, it'll upgrade to a block, and then that block has a compressed version, and this will be the compressed version of the block. I like to have access to the nuggets in case I do need nuggets for a recipe, and if I need more space, I'll just upgrade these. If you want to, since you are getting, you know, the nuggets, since you are getting ingots, it is completely fine to stick the ingot here and just have it upgrade block to block. If you're not worried about, if you're not, you know, if you're not lazy like me and you don't mind having to craft these down into nuggets, you totally can do it this way. It is completely fine. So let's do our gems. I do the gems on the bottom right because these, how am I short of, so I just miscounted. Okay. I don't want to talk about it. So instead of 14 of these, you're going to want 17. You're going to need one for your emerald, kivy, dripstone. For these four, we put our create stone blocks in here. And last but not least, we need to grab our configuration tool. Boop. Just add all of them on there. I was able to do that in just 2 clicks because I have my linking tool set to multiple mode. If you hold sneak and then right click, you can change from single to multiple. But single, you set the atom one by one. If you do not hold sneak and you just right click the air, you'll swap from add to remove. So I can go to multiple, go to remove. I can remove all these at one time. I can swap back to single, swap back to add, and I'll show you that you can just add these one at a time as you want to. No bigger. So let's see how this is going. You can see it already compressed a lapis brick, and that's because I wasn't fast enough. But now everything should be getting crafted and moved as needed. You can see some ore getting put in here. If you're having issues with not producing enough coal and your emerald furnace running out of power every once in a while, you can't supplement this with more power. There are some items like the wind generator that are fine. Solar generators are fine from Mechanism. There's probably some other little tiny generators. Stick a windmill on there, stick some solar generators on there, or you could mayhaps move these to the top. Keep this one here. Grab your porcelain crucible, slam it over top of this lava. Stick your magma generator up here. Stick a run your power cable over to this. And what I'll do is I'll tell this chest to also output to the north side. So now that is pushing cobblestone into here. We'll take fluid pipes and we will pipe up. Let me grab my little wrench. And we'll use fluid pipes to pipe up the lava into this magmatic generator, and this will start producing some extra power for us if we need it. Yeah, that's about it. So I hope you like my little tiny setup here. That's cool. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you all do, and I'll see you later. Comments, likes, subscribes, all that good jazz. Okay, peace out.